Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Revoltech Amazing Yamaguchi Batman Beyond. And I'm very curious, before we get into the review, question of the day, what do you guys think about this design? This takes me back to the Play Arts Kai, the Square Enix variants of the DC and Marvel characters, and I'm very torn. I keep going back and forth on this figure between love and hate. It's such a departure from the original design that I think it's taking me away from it a little bit, but it's also kind of cool, and there's some things I like about the figure. Just let me know what you guys think about it before we get into the meat and taters, and then after we do, let me know if your opinion changed. But let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. Alright, before we look at the figure, I do want to show you my package. Fine on this side, drab on this side. Some people might like it. I still prefer my stuff to look like fun rather than gray. Everything being gray and bland is not my cup of tea. I like color and excitement and fun, and it's just not that. But there's some nice photos on the back. They usually do a pretty good job with that, so that's cool. Very generous photography, I would say, in some cases. Like right here, I think... I mean, you can technically do it, but I think it is very generous. Anyway, yeah, pretty good box if you don't mind the gray part, so that's pretty standard. Now let's talk about the figure. I will say he is in stock at Big Bad Toy Store as of the time of this filming, so if you want one, you can go get one at the link in the description below. He stands just about 6 1/4 inches, just shy of that to the top of his head, about 6 3/8 including the ears, and that's going to make him roughly, let's say, 15.7 and then 16.3, give or take. Here he is up against Darwin, just so you can have an idea of how he scales with Marvel Legends that aren't oversized. He's probably reasonably scalable, so that should be just fine. We already did a question of the day, so let's get into the aesthetic on this guy. I think they went too far. I think they jumped the shark a little bit in trying to come up with a new design for this guy. His whole thing was being all black. And the eyes shouldn't be red. Why did the... Well, okay. So my take on it is they went too far. It's way too mechanical. And even if you're going to do the mechanical thing, get rid of the red. Have different panels of blacks and grays and things like that, I guess. And then just have the red logo. Like, make it a little bit more traditional looking. And then I think for the face, that's what really finally sealed the deal for me to not enjoy this figure enough. Just aesthetically. It just doesn't look like what it's supposed to look like. This looks like... I don't know, nothing really with a bat logo on it and bat ears. It doesn't have enough of what it should be, I think. I'm curious what you guys think. It's very subjective. For me, it's just not enough of Batman Beyond. The figure itself is pretty good, and we'll get through it. And that's why I keep going between loving and hating it, because it's like it does pose pretty darn well and it works nicely, but to me it doesn't look like what I want it to look like even when I get it posed. So there's that. They did a decent enough job hiding the shoulder balls just because we have big shoulder pads and everything's black. So that's fine. All the cut up parts are pretty well hidden also because the whole sculpt is a bunch of angular cut up parts basically. So it's pretty easy to not notice those things. So yeah, if you happen to like the way this looks, then I think you're going to be just fine with this. He's got decent proportions. He's got the longer torso that they have, but it's not too bad. They have longer torsos and shorter legs, but it's reasonably well done. He's not overly like hunchy and things like that. We've seen way worse. So there's that. And then the paint job is all black plastic other than the belt, of course, and red, and it's fine. It's not especially clean, but it's definitely clean enough. If you're not doing a review, you probably won't notice it. But here's honestly one of my biggest gripes about this guy is the way they cut up the chest. In order to have this articulation, which is a standard Revoltech thing, which actually works really well on this guy, why did they make it a straight cut for this piece? Why is it just a straight line? If it was angled or like part of the design, like if it followed this, I'll use my little pointer. If it followed this line right here, it's a pen. It's a little tiny pen. If you follow this line right here with this sculpt here, it would have looked so much better than just being a straight line. Because if you go forward, it just looks like crap. And if you go all the way out to the side, it also looks like crap. I don't understand why they didn't carry their own design philosophy through the design that they designed. That's very strange. And then lastly, like I said, the red eyes throw it off a lot, I think. I think it takes a ton away from the character design to just make his eyes look like the rest of his suit. It doesn't make sense to me. So it's fine. Their execution is fine. It's nothing impressive, but it's good enough. And if you like the character design, you'll be good. If you don't, you won't be. So I'll give it an 8 out of 10 just because what they did is fine, like technically speaking. The rest is subjectivity. So I don't care for it, but you might, and so that's totally up to you. Now, as far as accessories go, I'm going to count the wings as accessories because you have to peg them on, and you may not want them. And they are nicely done. They have a different red for the wing, which I guess works, except it's the only place that red exists other than the other accessories. So I don't know. Again, that's a subjective thing. But the designs peg on. They have ball hinges. They connect to the body nicely. The wings fall off a little bit too easily, but they do articulate well enough, even though they only have a singular hinge. I think they should have two. Another hinge just like that, but farther forward, would have been better to like allow him to like use his wings for armor a little bit better and things like that, or shielding. But yeah, the wings work well enough, so that's fine. We do have an alternate head, which has the mouth showing, which helps a little bit. That little extra pop of white is nice. The eyes should have been white though. Alright, and then for hands, we get a decent spread of hands, except for the claw hands, which have silver on them now, even though there's no silver anywhere else in the design. I don't know why they did that, but they did. I don't mind it, I guess. But we don't have open ones. Like, they're all clenchy, so it's not as good as it would be. Like, he's like this only. What about that? Like, I'm guessing a lot of people want open claw hands. I've seen that in the comments before. I've always thought that was a thing that we should have. So you get that, and then he has trigger finger hands to hold his batarangs, which is a strange choice. I don't know if these hands are reused. They're just generic hands. They don't have any texture on them or anything. But you do get the two batarangs, which are like identical to the original design, which I do love. So that's good. And then lastly, you get the blast effects for his feet. I have one orange one and one yellow one. I don't know how that happened. I think that sucks. I think that sucks big time, and hopefully everybody else has just either orange or yellow. So accessory-wise, he's fine. I will go 8 out of 10. It's a decent enough spread, but nothing that's going to be like, oh, his accessories really stand out. All right, now let's see if he can pose, because that's going to be the deal breaker for a for a Revoltech figure. He can look up pretty nicely. That's good. Between the ball pegs in the head and the neck, he looks up. He can look down. It moves around in all the different directions. You should be fine. They do their necks pretty well, and his actual neck, not the head on the neck, but the neck itself moves around really nicely, and because of the angular suit design, it's pretty well hidden, so that's okay. I already showed you the butterfly joint has really good range forward and back, and it's not super gappy anywhere. I mean, it gets a little bit weird in the back, but it does work nicely, so that's good. And then you have your standard Revoltech shoulder, ball hinge, ball peg combo. Raising the arm up works no problem. Bringing the arm across the chest works no problem. It basically does everything you want a Revoltech to do. It will get the job done for sure, and being all black, it looks better than most, and he does have a relatively high shoulder pad. Some of them expose the ball too much. This one doesn't really expose it too much, so that's okay. Now, one downside is you can rotate the arm around like this, but when you try to rotate the arm separate of the shoulder pad, it won't go, and I don't know why. It should, but it doesn't. Maybe it will on yours. Mine won't do it on either side, so I don't know what that's about. You do get your ball hinge, ball peg combo for the elbow, so you get the really good range, or you get the better look with less range. Totally up to you, but it does work. And then ball hinge wrists that have the hands fall off too easily. That's all pretty standard. It all works really well. His torso, combination of ball pegs throughout. He leans back that far, which works pretty well. He doesn't really get gappy, so that's nice. And then going forward, he leans forward really nicely too. Yes, you get gappy up here at the top if you go all the way, but it still works really well. And then side to side, again, pretty darn well. Not great, but I mean, for Revoltech, it's not great, but it is pretty darn good. So that's that. The belt is connected in the back here. I don't like that the belt does not stay connected to this piece. I want the belt, where's my little, I need to get a better pointer. I want the belt to follow this the whole time. I want it down here. I don't want his belt floating up like that. I think that looks terrible. If the belt was down here where it belonged, I could pose him around much easier and have him look nicer. So that's a bit irritating. Standard Revoltech hips that have the weird, I can't speak, thigh swivel. The weird thigh swivel is so prevalent here, it's quite frustrating to use these hips because it just doesn't really help anything. But you do have the big old ball peg in there too that works reasonably well. So you can get him posed. His crotch is flexible and floaty, but you do get weird angles out of the hips for no real reason. I don't have any idea why they haven't abandoned that at this point. But yeah, you get good range out of the hips for the most part. Same thing for the knees. These are maybe the best of the single jointed knees that they've ever done. It's because they just hollowed out his thigh completely. He has no meat in the back of his thigh. His hamstrings are just gone, which isn't, I guess, super noticeable, and so that's a perfectly reasonable way to do it. But yeah, basically all the range you could want on that, and other than having a big knee pad, which is pretty standard, they are nice, they work. And then for the shin swivel, you get the swivel and you get the hinge that's in there, which will help for various posing, so that's all right. And then for the ankles, pretty good range. They go pretty far down and pretty far up. Ankle rocker works really nicely. And the toe hinge is not bad at all. It's a pretty good toe hinge. So yeah, he's good. Other than really the Revoltech style hips, which I will never understand. I have tried. I can't understand why they do that. He works nicely. He has, a few of the issues here and there, but mostly he's going to pose. And if you're okay with Revoltech figures, then he's going to be a really good one. If you're not okay with Revoltech figures, then you may be able to accept this figure, but maybe not. That's going to be a hard one to sell, because he is so strange looking also. So I'll give his articulation for Revoltech a 9. I think it's pretty darn good. Most of him works really well, and that's why I'm torn with hating and loving this figure. I hate it because it could look so much more like Batman Beyond. Like, if you repaint a bunch of the red parts black and paint his eyes white, that would probably do it, honestly. Yeah, I mean, it's close to being awesome for me, and maybe for you it is. I'm curious. Let me know, again, in the comment section what you think. But, I don't know, it's pretty, technically it's pretty good. Other than technically, officially, objectively, the design is not accurate to the source at all. They clearly went overboard with changing it, but that's whatever. Okay, so time for the final verdict. It's a good Revoltech figure. If you like the way it looks, pick it up for sure. It poses well, comes with enough stuff, you'll be happy enough with it. If you don't like the way it looks, it's not going to sell you on it by having it in hand. The photos look better. I mean, the photos do a good job of making it look good. It's not like, oh, it looks even better in person. Sometimes that's a thing. It's not with this one. So I'm going to give him an overall rating, objectively, of 8.5 out of 10. I think they did a pretty good job with what they set out to do. For me personally, it's sometimes a 9, sometimes a 6 or a 5. It depends on how much I'm being irritated by the changes in the suit design. But yeah, it's pretty solid. I think a lot of people will enjoy having this figure if they can look past those few issues, like the belt being annoying or these being straight cuts, things like that. But that's it for me, so let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and otherwise, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down, and if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos just about every single day, and thousands already on the channel, so make sure you come back for all of that, and in the meantime, keep collecting.